What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are gonna explain all the condition notes in Unity muse behavior. Right here we have a new studio. You may immediately notice from if you guys have been watching my other videos, because I've been doing my videos on mobile, but now I'm on PC. Thanks, because I recently got a new PC. So right here off the bat, I'm so sorry guys that I haven't uploaded for 2 weeks. No, I also made a promise that I will upload a tutorial video like tomorrow, right after I posted the, let's say, the nothing video. That's what I will call it. So today in this video we are gonna explain all the action notes. I mean the condition notes, sorry. So over here on this new studio, you if you are new to this studio, and it's basically the same as mobile. You could try to copy me all the things I'm trying to do with the custom logic stuff. You could do the same on mobile. It's like kind of the same but different. Interference, clickability might be different on mobile. But anyways, right here we have our muse behavior. Now we can scroll all the way down. We have the action notes, which I explained on my other video like 4 months ago, I think. And over here we scroll down with our, right here, the cylinder thing onto the very right of the corner of your screen. You will look over here and you'll find the condition notes. Make sure you click on that, and you'll find all of these heck of the notes that you probably don't even know. So we're gonna be explaining all of these action notes, the condition notes. I'm sorry guys. All of these condition notes, and be explaining them what they actually do. So on the first note over here, we have on aim notes. Make sure you put it on repeat if you want it to repeat your notes. So over here, what this basically does is when self target is aiming at an object, say specific, make sure your object is specific. We don't want basically the same assets in your world to be activating this note. So when self is aiming at an object, let's say whatever asset you put into the game, let's say block. This is an activation block. When self is aiming at a block specific, let's say we wanted to open a door. So what this basically does is when self is aiming at a block, this right here, let's say door, not Dora the Explorer. Let's change door specific to open. So let's say when self is aiming at block specific, change door specific to open it. So that's basically what it does. So whether you want your character to be aiming at a block to activate some actions or other other scenes or actions, whatever, any other stuff you want to activate by just looking at it or aiming at it. And to do to activate this note, you actually want to have a crosshair. To activate the note right here, you must have a crosshair in order for this to work, for your note to work. Because if you don't have a crosshair, it won't work. On to the next note. So over here we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. Gonna go back. Gonna go back. All right, over here. So on the Unity behavior, this might be a very long video, as I said. So on to the next note, we have on attack. Over here, we have when this note called on attack. You can also hover your mouse right here on these icons. It'll show you, kind of explain what these notes are. Like you see this little icon right here. It will tell you what this note does, but that's very little information. In this video, we're gonna be explaining it very goodly, as I would say. So over here, what this note actually does is on attack when, let's say, when self-specific attacks. So basically, when an NPC or player starts to shoot, or let's say swings, attacks, or tries to hit, like you hit something or shoot something, like start shooting, and it will trigger an action down below. Make sure you put it specific. When self-specific starts shooting or attacks, then you could say any whatever action notes starts happening. So on to the next one right here on collision. Now this one, it's kind of tricky because it could be any asset. This one's kind of tricky because off the bat you might see these three like added notes, which may confuse you. Like, what the heck are these? Like, what did they do? So let's say when target self-specific is colliding. So what this note basically does is when let's say a character starts colliding with an asset, any asset, because this is on collision note, not on collision with object. So when self-specific is colliding with any object, you could say start, you could go on action notes, and let's say when self-specific is colliding, you can make it where, you want it to jump, because whatever the situation you want. So let's say you want self-specific is colliding, you could make any action happen down here. So basically any colliding your character does, it triggers an action. That's basically what it does. I don't know what the other two does. Yeah, that's my theory. My theory. But I actually tested it, and it does work. So right here, this is the more specific note of the on collision right here. So what this basically does is the same as this one, but more specific. When target specific is colliding with the object, let's say your target is colliding with the object you want right here, if you assigned it specific, then it could trigger an action. So this is the same note as this one, but more specific. So yeah, that's basically what it does. So right here, on to the next one, we have on damage. So with this one's kind of easy. When target, let's say self, this is a little explanation right here. So let's say when self-specific takes damage, there's two different ones. There's one with deals and takes. Deals is the one that takes damage to other assets or NPCs. So when a player or NPC takes damage to another asset or other NPC, it triggers another action. Now the takes when NPC or any object takes damage, like for example when the self shoots at the other object, takes damage, takes damage, it triggers an action. So let's say when self takes damage, let's say you want to make a little action. So we could go over here, you could copy me if you want. Let's say you want to grab this specific note text on screen. Grab it right here. Blah blah blah. Let's say I'm hurt. Any dialogue you want for, let's say, 2 seconds. When self-specific takes damage, show text on the screen for 2 seconds. So let's take over here. Let's add an enemy. Let's grab our enemy, and once he starts attacking us, he starts hurting our character. See, the dialogue shows, I am hurt. Alright, go back, go back. Alright, that's basically what it does. So, whatever you want, you know, if the same thing goes for this one. If the deals, if you put on the deals, if you switch it to deals, let's say when this person shoots this one, then trigger an action, whatever action you want. You know, a cool cutscene, you could create lightning bolts, whatever you want. You know, change the scenery over here. So that's basically what it does. And over here, we have the on dash. Now this one is also easy. When target self, it's obviously gonna be self because you're obviously gonna be pressing the self. I mean the dash right here. No, I think no other NPC could dash on its own. But over here, so when self specific dashes, let's say you want, let's say the NPC, the player, you know, dashes, you know, the shift right here, you press shift, that dash. So let's say you want to add a special action, whatever action you want. So when self specific dashes, you can add any action you want over here, and it will make it happen once you press dash. It also won't work if you disable dash on your player or character. So make sure you put the settings and turn on the dash setting on the let's say the stats of the character, on the character. So on to the next one. So over here on death, this one's also kind of easy. When target dies specific, make sure you put it specific. When self dies, then it could trigger an action, or we don't want it to be self. We can actually put it into monster. When monster specific dies, we can make it to an action where it ends the game. So let's say you want a monster, if this monster dies, then the game ends. So we're gonna go to the action note and go scrolling on down. And let's grab our this note right here, end game. And when monster dies, specific dies, end game and win. Make sure you put a win or you want it to lose. So we're gonna assign this one right here, and you'll see right now. And the game should end right now. So that's what it does. But it does kind of take a while because you have to, for the body of the creature to actually despawn in order for the end game to work. So that's what the you know, when you know, when object or anything specific dies, triggering an action. This also could be done same with any asset, not any living asset. Could be also done with non-living assets, if you know what I'm talking about. Right, on to the next one, on to the next note. We have on dialogue. So basically what this does is once you dialogue with this creature, let's say if you dialogue with this creature over here, it should say, yeah, right here on this run. So basically what this does is once your character press dialogue with this creature, it activates any sort of action note you want from the bottom. So when target specifics starts dialogue, then any action could start right here. Also guys, Make sure you comment down your games into the comments. If you have any questions, specific notes, I will actually tell it you into the comments down below if you have more questions about any specific notes you want. So yeah, with that being off to the side, we have on door. When door, so this one's easy as well, like always. When specific, let's say door, let's say when door, the asset named door opens, it triggers an action. Let's say you open, let's put a dialogue right here. Let's put text on screen. So you could put any text, you could copy me if you want. This is just a demonstration. Let's say when door is open, you could say the underworld. Is that how you spell underworld? Yeah. The underworld is, let's say the underworld is open to the world. Completely random. The underworld is open to the world for like, let's say 3 seconds. So we're gonna assign this one to our lovely door right here. So basically when we open this door, our dialogue appears. So that's what it does. On to the next note over here. I'm gonna delete all of that. All the useless notes we don't need. So back over here. So right here on equipped. So this note over here, what this basically does is when your player picks up a consumable and equips, let me see, on equip, yeah. So let's basically say when, let's say, how do I say this? So let's say when player specific equips an item from your inventory, an action appears. So let's say when self specific equips an item, let's say equips an item. So let's say you want your character to be equipped, any sort of consumable. So you could go over here or to pickups over here, and let's say you want this bread. Once you equip this bread, it will show, or use it. It will show how much you gained, or stats apparently you want in your game. So basically what I'm about to do here is when you equip something, it triggers, a dialogue. But I think there's another conditions note where you could get a specific on equipped, note, basically kind of setup. Forget whatever I said. I'm having very difficult trying to talk all of this out over here. So basically on equipped anything, and basically what this note does is once you equip anything from your inventory, it triggers an event, or let's say action. That's basically what it does once you equip an, like, let's say an object or consumable, whatever. So on to the next one. On game start, when game starts, I don't know what this basically does. I mean, when the game starts, the game starts. This note is kind of useless, but let's see what it does. When game starts, yeah, when game starts, the game starts. I think that's already included. You don't need this note, I think, because the game already starts. You don't need a note that says on game start because the game already started. You know what I'm saying? So on to the next one. Well, here we have the on ground note. So what this basically does is when a target or any asset becomes, grounded onto like the terrain, an action starts happening. So let's say self specific becomes grounded. Not me getting grounded after I got lunch attention. You know, grounded onto the terrain, and something happens. So any action note. So once that becomes any any player or NPC becomes grounded to the floor on land, then you could say action. Any action could start. Now over here, right here, when the target, on to the next note. Sorry, I forgot to say it. Right here says on health regeneration. When target, let's say self starts regenerating health, if you activate, let's say, make sure you go to health, and in order for that note to work, you must, you know, turn on this one right here, auto heal, or you can activate it with, over here, like right here. Where is it on heal node? Where is it? I'm trying to look for it. Yeah, right here. When you can add any heal node when target heals or regenerate self, you could do the same with that one. When self specific regenerates health, you can actually add a dialogue, let's say, or a text on the screen. It says show text, you are recovering. Is that how you spell recovering? I think so. So let's say you are recovering 3 seconds. Specific. Let's see if this works, guys. You start to recover health. Alright. Start to recover health. Once you start recovering health. Any second now, any second. Or did I actually? Wait, did I press auto heal? Yeah, I didn't. Make sure you activate the auto heal, or else this note wouldn't work. So off to this test again. Alright, let's see. Yeah, see, when I'm recovering, I am regenerating, and that action note activates. So yeah, that's basically what it does. Once you recover, it triggers an action. Simple as that. On to the next note over here. Ba-ba-da-ba. So over here on interact. So right here is what this basically does is when you tap or click on specific any NPC or any, let's say, asset, when you press tap with, let's say, NPC, let's name it NPC specific, and you wanted to, you know, activate a dialogue. So let's say you want a you let's say you want to tap on an NPC and you want it to talk. So we're actually gonna make that over here. Let's say show speech bubble for NPC with text. What do you want? So let's say we just want to bother the NPC by just tapping on their shoulder. And we're just gonna get rid of this now because, just get rid of that person. And we're just gonna add an NPC, a random NPC. We're gonna assign it. This is a little demonstration. Once we tap it with our, let's see, with our clock. Can we do that? Yeah, we can interact with it. Let's say when you shoot it, it triggers an interaction, or you can actually, tap it with your screen. I think you tap it with your screen. Let me check it out. Let me see if you could tap it with your mouse. Let's see if we could do that. So let's press escape, and no, it's only, so this note only activates when you start hitting a specific, asset or NPC. So you could do that in any of your games if you want. Make sure you have to hit it or shoot at the specific asset to trigger the specific note. So right here, yeah, that's basically what it does. And on to the next note over here. On to the next note. We're gonna scroll down like always. On to the next note. So what's next? So over here on inventory change. So what this basically does is when inventory is open or closed, let's say you want it to be open, it triggers an action event over here. Any action, that's basically what it does when you open the inventory. The backpack over here. What is it? It's B. So let's say when you press B, this is your inventory, it triggers an action. Whatever action you want to put down there. So that's basically what this. No! Sorry, guys. I had to sneeze. Pretty dusty in my room. So that's basically what the on inventory change does. Once you click on your inventory and an action, whatever action you want, starts. And over here, this one is also an easy one. Pretty self-explanatory. When, let's say, self-specific jumps, you trigger an action right here. Basically, that's what it does. On to the next one. Over here, amount. So when target, let's say specific mounts or dismounts. I don't know what this one does. What does this one do? What does this one do? Ooh, when object mounts slash unmounts. Hold up. So yeah, yeah, sorry. I do not know how this note actually works. I'm sorry, I do not know what this note does. But forget it, you probably don't even need it. So right here, so on to the next one, on pickup right here. So this one is kind of easy. When let's say any pickup is picked up, like any, let's say, you want a piece of bread. Let's say you want an action to happen when a piece of bread is picked up. So you click over here, type in bread. How do you bread? So let's say when bread specific is picked up by the player, when it gets close to it, it picks it up. It automatically picks up. So yeah, when bread specific is picked up, you could trigger an action. We could trigger an action. Make sure you assign it all the make sure you assign all your variables to the specific, asset or NPC. Make sure you assign it like this one. Make sure you assign it in order for this all your notes to work. So on to the next note over here. So over here, so on proximity over here, I think like the official Struct app talked about this. This one is really useful because over here, when let's say when self specific is closer than 5 to NPC, you could activate a dialogue. So what this basically does is when any NPC or player is closer to whatever distance is to any other NPC or any object, it triggers an action. So we're gonna make a little demonstration over here what this actually means. So over here, let's say you want a dialogue to happen. for getting close to an NPC. So let's say over here, show speech bubble with text. What's up, bro? You know, any text once you get close to that NPC, and you'll see how this works in a little bit. Over here, make sure you sign it over here. So let's say when we get close to this NPC, it'll trigger an action. So like right here. So it says, "What's up, bro?" And you could do this if you want this NPC to be looking at you. You can add an extra note. You could add an extra note over here. You know that says, let's say, where is it? Change camera, change torch. Camera. No, this one's not it. This one's not it. Guys, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. All right, over here. So you could add an extra note over here that says when target looks at. So you obviously you want your NPC to be looking at you, not just staring at something else like a wall or something. So let's say the target NPC specific looks at, let's say, the player. So this is a little demonstration, guys. Don't worry, we're gonna get on to the next note. So let's see, like right here. There we go. We have our little dialogue. You could continue it by adding more notes to that other note over here. You know, more more dialogue you want to add in. You could, do more action stuff. You know, put more stuff into it. So that's basically what proximity does. The proximity note. So on to the next note over here on proximity. So that's what it does if you guys are wondering. Full demonstration. On to the next one. We're getting close to the end, guys. On reload, this one over here, what this basically does is when a weapon or anything, yeah, when a weapon, when target, let's say, when self is reloading a weapon, you start an action. Hold up, I forgot to delete this. Sorry. So yeah, when self specific reloads their weapon, an action starts to happen. So let's say when self is reloading a weapon, that you wanted to say, "I'm reloading out loud." So we are gonna say that. Let's say, let's take our text bubble over here. We're gonna show character self that says, "I'm reloading." Reloading. Yeah, that says, just imagine, you can copy me if you want. Just imagine your character starts reloading their weapon and shows a speech bubble, "I'm reloading," if that's what you guys want to do. So over here, so we're just imagine you got a weapon on your hands and you're starting to reload, and then some guy's gonna shoot you. You're gonna be dead. Alright, there. I'm reloading. So once your magazine is empty, your character says, "I'm reloading." So that's basically what that note does. Pretty easy to understand. You can add extra notes like like what I said on the other notes. Do anything what you want. Your creativity is unleashed into this app over here. You could do anything, guys. Anything, guys. Don't do anything weird. Don't make anything weird and release it to the to the public. So over here we have on weapon change. So basically what this does is when, let's say, when player specific changes to another weapon, let's say, like your hotbar over here, toolbar, let's say, yeah, right here, like over here, when players start switching to another weapon, an action starts to happen. Like, let's say you want to add a dialogue that says, I'm switching weapons, any action you want to put it right here. That's basically what it does once you change a weapon. If you want an action to happen once you change a weapon. Alright, on to the last one. Over here, this one's also easy. When, let's say, when target, let's say self, when player specific scopes in, you know, when he's aiming, like aiming at any object, like, you know, aim. You know what I'm talking about. When player starts aiming, it triggers an action over here. You can add any action. You can add the character to do more damage when it's aiming. So, for example, I'm gonna do a little demonstration. You could copy me if you want. We could, you know, change the stats so when self scopes, you actually deal more damage. Attack power of, let's say, self specific to, let's say 20. So your original attack power is 10, but we wanted to increase it to 20 if you want. So this one over here, let's see, where is it? Where is it? AI, physics, weapons. I kind of forgot. Oh, okay, we're here. I'm totally stupid. So let's say our original attack power is 10. You deal less damage when you unscope. So let's say you wanted to scope in and you deal more damage. So we're gonna make this team red over here. He was 10. This guy killed me. This guy killed me. He's too fast. He's too fast. He's too fast. He's too fast. I gotta change it up a little bit. Alright, sorry guys. So let's see right here. He does like around 10 damage, but when I scope in, let's see. Wait, how do you scope in? You can't scope in. I think so. I think so. Wait, you can't scope in with this gun? What? Yeah, so I gotta fix up. So actually, you need a weapon that actually scopes in. So my bad. So let's say when you're not scoping, you're only doing very little damage, like 5 damage, and when you scope in, you do 9 damage, like a little bit more than 5 damage or whatever low damage, but it's a little bit more damage when you scope. Ignore that. That was a critical damage, but you get what I'm saying. So when this condition note, when self-specific scopes, you could do any action you want. So yeah, that's basically what it does. And I think that's all. I think that's all. Sorry guys for my speech stutters. I have so much saliva in my mouth. But this is all the action note. The condition notes. I'm so sorry guys. All of the condition notes over here we just explained. And if you have any more questions on like a specific note you want me to, teach you, because I kind of know most of them, not all of them. But if you have any questions or any problems in a comment with your, muse behavior, please comment down below. I will help you as soon as I see your comment. I'll try to help you as soon as I can, as soon as I get to notice it. But this is all the condition notes. And if you guys are, misunderstood me because of my speech stutters, then you could comment down the specific note you want, the specific note you actually want more detail on. So let's say you want more detail on more damage on the on damage note, you could comment it on that. Like you could, sorry. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You could comment the specific notes, and I'll explain it to you more and more clearly. As if that's what I'm saying, yeah, more clearly to you, and hopefully you guys are supporting me because this is a lot of work. This is a lot of teaching. So anyway, please like and subscribe, and I'll post another video about all the UI, the how to interfere, or how to the basics of the Struct Studio app over here. I'll try to you know professional professionalize you know pro my speech. That's what I'm trying to say. Pro my speech. Pro my speech. I guess that's how you say it. But if you guys want more content like this, please like and subscribe, and also try comment what other video you want to see or teach you. And that's all I have for today. Please like and subscribe. Please comment on your games so I could try them out and give them a rating. And I'll see you guys in the next video.